Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will be diving into how to create the Linux virtual machine in Azure Portal. So once you have logged into the Azure Portal, navigate to the virtual machines. So you can also search here with the virtual machines and click on create and select Azure virtual machine. So from here, you can select the subscription and then you can select the resource group. So if you don't have a resource group, you can create a new one. So I'm going to create a new resource group here and click on OK. Next, enter the virtual machine name. Okay, and then select the region. So I'm going to select Asia Pacific, Central India, and availability options. I'll keep it no infrastructure redundancy required. And then I'm going to choose the Ubuntu server 22.04. Okay, and VM architecture x64 and size. I'll go with the standard B1S, 1 vCPU and 1 gig memory. So it will cost 680 per month. And under the authentication type, I'm going to select the SSH public key. And here you can enter the username. So I'm going to give Azure admin, and here under SSH public key resource, generate new key pair. If you have already existing key pair, then you can choose that. So here I'm going to generate the new key pair. Okay, and SSH key type, selecting the RSA SSH format, and here you need to enter the key pair name. So I'll just go with the default selection, and under the inbound port rules, I'm going to allow only the SSH port number 22 and click on next. So for the disk, this is the image default 30 gig, and disk type, I'm going to choose the HDD since it is for the testing purpose, because if you go with the premium SSD, then it will cost you more. Okay, I'm not going to add any data disk. So click on next for the networking, and here for the virtual network, I'm going to create a new VNet with this name, and it's going to create the default subnet in this range 10.0.0.0/24, and I'm going to create the new public IP so that I can use that to SSH. And here I can go with the default selection, and here allow the public inbound port 22 for SSH, and then click on next. Okay, here if you want, you can choose these options. For example, if you want to enable auto shutdown, you can go with these options, and this is for the guest OS updates. And click on next for monitoring, and then click on next. So here if you want to add any extension, you can do here, and if you want to add any custom script, you can add it here as well, so that will be done as part of the VM deployment. So I'm just going to just create the plain Linux VM without any custom data here. So next, I'm just click on review and create. Okay, so here you can review the virtual machines detail, and this is the price, how much it's going to be charged per hour. And then here we have enabled the SSH port to the internet because we wanted to connect to the SSH. And but this is only recommended for testing. And if you want to change the settings, go back to the basics tab and you can restrict there. So you can review all the virtual machines settings and whatever we have selected basics, and here are the disk information. So we are going to use the standard HDD with the LRS, and these are the networking section, and you can just review and click on create. Okay, so here generate new key pair. An SSH key pair contains both public key and a private key. So Azure doesn't store this private key. After the SSH key resource is created, you won't be able to download the private key again. So here we need to download the private key and create the resource. So we need to save this in our system. Okay, the deployment is in progress, and we have already downloaded the key. Okay, so the deployment is completed. Click on go to resource, and here you can see the VM status. It is running. Okay, so the private key is with us on our local system, and public key will be available on the Azure VM. So now we are going to connect to the VM using our private key. So I have copied the key to my desktop. So this is the private key, and using this, now I'm going to connect to this VM. So for that, you need to specify SSH and -I followed by the location of the private key. So I have it in my desktop. So this is the private key SSH-I. So you need to specify the location here wherever you have that private key, and followed by username Azure admin at the IP address of the VM. So now I'm going to use this public IP here and enter. Okay, now you can see it's directly logged into the Azure VM that we just created. It didn't prompt for any password because we are using the passwordless authentication, which is through the private key. Similarly, you can use any terminal. For example, if you want to connect using the PowerShell, you can launch the PowerShell, and here you can type SSH. So before that, let me list. Okay, this is my private key. So SSH, if an I, you need to put the location desktop and followed by the key name, and then username Azure admin at, copy the public IP of the VM. Okay, so it will ask you to accept this fingerprint. So click on type yes. Okay, it says unprotected private key file. Okay, so now let me go to the file and go to the properties. So here you can see even everyone has the permission. So let me remove this. Generally keep my account. Okay, now let me try to SSH again, and Now we can see that we are able to successfully log into the Azure VM using the keys. Okay, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.